Погода, продвинутая лексика.
It is overcast.
Небо затянуто тучами.
It is overcast.
It is overcast.
It is overcast.
A light drizzle.
Легкая морось.
A light drizzle.
A light drizzle.
A light drizzle.
A heavy downpour.
Сильный ливень.
A heavy downpour.
A heavy downpour.
A heavy downpour.
The air is humid.
Воздух влажный.
The air is humid.
The air is humid.
The air is humid.
A gentle breeze.
Нежный ветерок.
A gentle breeze.
A gentle breeze.
A gentle breeze.
A strong gale.
Сильный шторм.
A strong gale.
A strong gale.
A strong gale.
It started to hail.
Начался град.
It started to hail.
It started to hail.
It started to hail.
A thick fog.
Густой туман.
The thick fog.
A thick fog.
A thick fog.
A flash of lightning.
Вспышка молнии.
A flash of lightning.
A flash of lightning.
A flash of lightning.
A rumble of thunder.
Раскат грома.
A rumble of thunder.
A rumble of thunder.
A rumble of thunder.
The weather is mild.
Погода умеренная.
The weather is mild.
The weather is mild.
The weather is mild.
A sudden frost.
Внезапный заморозок.
A sudden frost.
A sudden frost.
A sudden frost.
Глаголы на кухне.
To chop vegetables.
Нарезать овощи.
To chop vegetables.
To chop vegetables.
To chop vegetables.
To stir the soup.
Помешивать суп.
To stir the soup.
To stir the soup.
To stir the soup.
To whisk the eggs.
Взбивать яйца.
To whisk the eggs.
To whisk the eggs.
To whisk the eggs.
To grate cheese.
Натереть сыр.
To grate cheese.
To grate cheese.
To grate cheese.
To simmer the sauce.
Томить соус.
To simmer the sauce.
To simmer the sauce.
To simmer the sauce.
To knead the dough.
Месить тесто.
To knead the dough.
To knead the dough.
To knead the dough.
To roast a chicken.
Запекать курицу.
To roast a chicken.
To roast a chicken.
To roast a chicken.
To dice an onion.
Нарезать кубиками лук.
To dice an onion.
To dice an onion.
To dice an onion.
To drain the pasta.
Слить воду с пасты.
To drain the pasta.
To drain the pasta.
To drain the pasta.
To mince garlic.
Измельчить чеснок.
To mince garlic.
To mince garlic.
To mince garlic.
To sauté mushrooms.
Обжарить грибы.
To sauté mushrooms.
To sauté mushrooms.
To sauté mushrooms.
Текстуры и поверхности.
A smooth surface.
Гладкая поверхность.
A smooth surface.
A smooth surface.
A smooth surface.
A rough texture.
Шероховатая текстура.
A rough texture.
A rough texture.
A rough texture.
A grainy photo.
Зернистое фото.
A grainy photo.
A grainy photo.
A grainy photo.
Soft velvet.
Мягкий бархат.
Soft velvet.
Soft velvet.
Soft velvet.
Fine silk.
Тонкий шелк.
Fine silk.
Fine silk.
Fine silk.
Warm wool.
Теплая шерсть.
Warm wool.
Warm wool.
Warm wool.
A prickly cactus.
Колючий кактус.
Prickly cactus.
A prickly cactus.
A prickly cactus.
A glossy magazine.
Глянцевый журнал.
A glossy magazine.
A glossy magazine.
A glossy magazine.
A fluffy cloud.
Пушистое облако.
A fluffy cloud.
A fluffy cloud.
A fluffy cloud.
A sticky surface.
Липкая поверхность.
A sticky surface.
A sticky surface.
A sticky surface.
A crisp apple.
Хрустящее яблоко.
A crisp apple.
A crisp apple.
A crisp apple.
A bumpy road.
Ухабистая дорога.
A bumpy road.
A bumpy road.
A bumpy road.
A coarse fabric.
Грубая ткань.
A coarse fabric.
A coarse fabric.
A coarse fabric.
Глаголы и звуки.
To whisper a secret.
Шептать секрет.
To whisper a secret.
To whisper a secret.
To whisper a secret.
To shout loudly.
Громко кричать.
To shout loudly.
To shout loudly.
To shout loudly.
He began to mumble.
Он начал бормотать.
He began to mumble.
He began to mumble.
He began to mumble.
The floorboards creak.
Половицы скрипят.
The floorboards creak.
The floorboards creak.
The floorboards creak.
The leaves rustle.
Листья шелестят.
The leaves rustle.
The leaves rustle.
The leaves rustle.
A loud thud.
Громкий глухой удар.
A loud thud.
A loud thud.
A loud thud.
The phone buzzed.
Телефон завибрировал.
The phone buzzed.
The phone buzzed.
The phone buzzed.
A dog's bark.
Лай собаки.
A dog's bark.
A dog's bark.
A dog's bark.
To gasp in surprise.
Ахнуть от удивления.
To gasp in surprise.
To gasp in surprise.
To gasp in surprise.
To hiss like a snake.
Шипеть, как змея.
To hiss like a snake.
To hiss like a snake.
To hiss like a snake.
The clock is ticking.
Часы тикают.
The clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking.
A distant rumble.
Далекий грохот.
A distant rumble.
A distant rumble.
A distant rumble.
The door slammed.
Дверь захлопнулась.
The door slammed.
The door slammed.
The door slammed.
Глаголы движения.
To stroll in the park.
Прогуливаться в парке.
To stroll in the park.
To stroll in the park.
To stroll in the park.
To dash to the door.
Броситься к двери.
To dash to the door.
To dash to the door.
To dash to the door.
To crawl on the floor.
Ползти по полу.
To crawl on the floor.
To crawl on the floor.
To crawl on the floor.
To leap over a puddle.
Перепрыгнуть через лужу.
To leap over a puddle.
To leap over a puddle.
To leap over a puddle.
To wander aimlessly.
Бродить бесцельно.
To wander aimlessly.
To wander aimlessly.
To wander aimlessly.
To tiptoe quietly.
Тихо красться на цыпочках.
To tiptoe quietly.
To tiptoe quietly.
To tiptoe quietly.
To stagger forward.
Шататься вперед.
To stagger forward.
To stagger forward.
To stagger forward.
To march in a parade.
Маршировать на параде.
To march in a parade.
To march in a parade.
To march in a parade.
To drift in the water.
Дрейфовать в воде.
To drift in the water.
To drift in the water.
To drift in the water.
To glide smoothly.
Плавно скользить.
To glide smoothly.
To glide smoothly.
To glide smoothly.
To shiver from cold.
Дрожать от холода.
To shiver from cold.
To shiver from cold.
To shiver from cold.
To plunge into water.
Нырнуть в воду.
To plunge into water.
To plunge into water.
To plunge into water.
To stumble on a rock.
Споткнуться о камень.
To stumble on a rock.
To stumble on a rock.
To stumble on a rock.
Искусство и материалы.
A blank canvas.
Чистый холст.
A blank canvas.
A blank canvas.
A blank canvas.
An artist's easel.
Художественный мольберт.
An artist's easel.
An artist's easel.
An artist's easel.
To sketch a portrait.
Набросать портрет.
To sketch a portrait.
To sketch a portrait.
To sketch a portrait.
To sculpt with clay.
Лепить из глины.
To sculpt with clay.
To sculpt with clay.
To sculpt with clay.
A bronze sculpture.
Бронзовая скульптура.
A bronze sculpture.
A bronze sculpture.
A bronze sculpture.
Drawing with charcoal.
Рисование углем.
Drawing with charcoal.
Drawing with charcoal.
Drawing with charcoal.
Painting with watercolor.
Живопись акварелью.
Painting with watercolor.
Painting with watercolor.
Painting with watercolor.
A colorful mural.
Красочная фреска.
A colorful mural.
A colorful mural.
A colorful mural.
A different hue.
Другой оттенок.
A different hue.
A different hue.
A different hue.
A delicate brushstroke.
Тонкий мазок кисти.
A delicate brushstroke.
A delicate brushstroke.
A delicate brushstroke.
A gallery exhibit.
Галерейная выставка.
A gallery exhibit.
A gallery exhibit.
A gallery exhibit.
The main masterpiece.
Главный шедевр.
The main masterpiece.
The main masterpiece.
The main masterpiece.
An abstract painting.
Абстрактная картина.
An abstract painting.
An abstract painting.
An abstract painting.
Все для сада.
To sow the seeds.
Сеять семена.
To sow the seeds.
To sow the seeds.
To sow the seeds.
To prune the bushes.
Подрезать кусты.
To prune the bushes.
To prune the bushes.
To prune the bushes.
Fertile soil.
Плодородная почва.
Fertile soil.
Fertile soil.
Fertile soil.
A young seedling.
Молодой саженец.
A young seedling.
A young seedling.
A young seedling.
The flowers blossom.
Цветы расцветают.
The flowers blossom.
The flowers blossom.
The flowers blossom.
A sharp thorn.
Острый шип.
A sharp thorn.
A sharp thorn.
A sharp thorn.
A ripe harvest.
Спелый урожай.
A ripe harvest.
A ripe harvest.
A ripe harvest.
To weed the garden.
Пропалывать сад.
To weed the garden.
To weed the garden.
To weed the garden.
A sturdy rake.
Прочные грабли.
A sturdy rake.
A sturdy rake.
A sturdy rake.
Базовая юридическая лексика.
To call a witness.
Вызвать свидетеля.
To call a witness.
To call a witness.
To call a witness.
To give testimony.
Давать показания.
To give testimony.
To give testimony.
To give testimony.
To present evidence.
Предъявить доказательства.
To present evidence.
To present evidence.
To present evidence.
A final verdict.
Окончательный вердикт.
A final verdict.
A final verdict.
A final verdict.
To sue the defendant.
Подать в суд на ответчика.
To sue the defendant.
To sue the defendant.
To sue the defendant.
To sign a contract.
Подписать договор.
To sign a contract.
To sign a contract.
To sign a contract.
A fair trial.
Справедливый суд.
Fair trial.
A fair trial.
A fair trial.
To file a lawsuit.
Подать иск.
To file a lawsuit.
To file a lawsuit.
To file a lawsuit.
The prosecution team.
Команда обвинения.
The prosecution team.
The prosecution team.
The prosecution team.
To acquit the accused.
Оправдать обвиняемого.
To acquit the accused.
To acquit the accused.
To acquit the accused.
To reach a settlement.
Достичь соглашения.
To reach a settlement.
To reach a settlement.
To reach a settlement.
A legal dispute.
Юридический спор.
A legal dispute.
A legal dispute.
A legal dispute.
To break a law.
Нарушить закон.
To break a law.
To break a law.
To break a law.
A civil right.
Гражданское право.
A civil right.
A civil right.
A civil right.
A fair judge.
Справедливый судья.
A fair judge.
A fair judge.
A fair judge.
The jury decides.
Присяжные решают.
The jury decides.
The jury decides.
The jury decides.
To be under oath.
Быть под присягой.
To be under oath.
To be under oath.
To be under oath.
A legal counsel.
Юридический советник.
A legal counsel.
A legal counsel.
A legal counsel.